Hello and welcome to my Guitar Pro tutorial. This is the second lesson in the series. If you were here with me last time, we learned how to duplicate this file right here. So let's get started. All right, first thing, we're going to duplicate this file today. You'll notice it is Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. Now the real file is probably 10 pages long. We're not going to do that. We're just going to do 4 measures and make up our own little version of the intro here. So first, click on File, New. You can probably leave everything here on default. Acoustic guitar, steel string is fine, or if you prefer, you can change it to electric guitar. Either way, click Create. And now we're ready. Now today I'm going to show you 2 new concepts. One is how to change the time signature, and 2 is how to change the rhythm of individual notes and chords. All right, and actually we're going to do a chord today too, so you'll learn 3 things. All right, so first thing, a little aesthetic thing I like to do is first, if you have an F11 to maximize your screen, and then also I like to fit my music to the width of my screen. So there we go. And you can do this to whatever zoom level you would like. If you want 100%, look more like this, you can absolutely do that. It's up to you. Okay. So like I said, the first thing we're going to do is change the time signature. If you look at our, let's close this one. If you look at our practice file, it's in 6/8 time. Now, if you don't know how to read music, today we're going to say a couple of things that are pertaining to reading music. Don't worry about it. I will point out what I'm talking about. So the time signature is this little funny number thing right here. It looks kind of like a fraction. 6/8 time. How we change that, which we're going to go over to our new file. We're going to hover above 4/4 and give it a second to highlight the 4/4 and then click 6/8. Okay, boom, done. All right, next thing we need to do is a setting. If you haven't done this from last lesson, what we did is we changed the default setting for rhythm in Guitar Pro. And here's how you do that, just in case you haven't done this yet. Go to File, Preferences, and then go ahead and click on Interface. And then the setting where it says plus minus keys behavior, we're going to change that. It's default shorter longer when you first download this program. We're going to change that to longer shorter. If it's already set to longer shorter, you're good. And click X. All right, so when you first open a file, it might be different depending on the version of Guitar Pro you have, but mine will default to a quarter note. And again, if you don't know what a quarter note is, it looks like that. All right, and I'm talking about the top notation here, not the 0. So that's not going to work because in our music we have eighth notes. They're also grouped in a certain way, which is going to happen automatically, but we do need to change it to eighth notes. All right, so how we do that is you just leave your cursor on the note, or you could highlight it, which isn't necessary, but you could. And we're going to hit the minus key. I like it that way because it decreases the duration of the note. So minus decreases, plus increases. And you can play with this and you'll see the more times you hit the minus key, the more little flags appear. And this is changing to a bunch of different types of rhythms. And then if you want to go the other way, you hit the plus key and you'll see it changes to different rhythms. So a default, again, should have been on quarter note. We're going to hit the minus key once, and that will change it to an eighth note. Now you might stop here and say, well, Ryan, that doesn't look the same as this. Well, it will, I promise you. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep inputting notes and it will automatically catch up with us. So we're going to hit the right arrow key, go up to the third string, 0. Right arrow key, go up to the second string, 0. And we're going to keep doing that until we get to this point here. So now you can see we've matched the first measure without having to do too much. I didn't have to group these, although there is a setting where you can change the grouping, but in this case, we don't need to change anything. And as you might have noticed, these 2 measures are the exact same. So to be quick about it, Control C for copy, right arrow key to move to another measure, Control V, right arrow key, Control V, and boom, just like that, I've got my 3 measures of all zeros. I didn't have to constantly hit 0, 0, 0. All right, so we got one more measure here, and this is where you're going to learn a couple of things. We're going to change the rhythm again, it looks like, to a dotted quarter note, and we're also going to make it a chord. Now, you might be tempted to look at the tab and manually put in all these notes, which it's good to know that you can stack notes on top of each other like this, but we're not going to do it that way, okay? We're going to back up a little bit, and instead we're going to hit the keyboard shortcut A. That's going to pull up the chord menu. Now check this out. I can input the chord a couple different ways from here too, but the fastest way for a typical E minor chord is to go tonality, E, type, minor, little m for minor, and boom, there's the chord I want. Hit OK, automatically puts it into the tab for me. It's the best way to do it. Now we do need to change the rhythm here to something that has a longer duration. So I'm going to click anywhere in the chord and click the plus key once. And then we need a dot. So it's pretty intuitive. There's a dot on your number pad, dot, and it will add a dot to your quarter note. All right. So you might be tempted to copy and paste here, or maybe even just do that again. And here's what will happen. If I move over to the right, click A, and then do this all over again. So E, little m for minor, okay. It will give you that E minor symbol again at the top, and we don't want that. So we're going to delete that. And instead, while my cursor, my square cursor, is on top of my chord here, I'm going to hit the letter C, and it will copy everything in the tab without putting another E minor at the top. You might have also noticed up here, it created a nice diagram for us, which is really nice. And you can click on that again to make any changes you want. Maybe you want a different version of the chord. Maybe you don't want to highlight the root note, all sorts of options, but we're not going to mess with any of them today. All right, and then a couple of aesthetic things here are left. We're pretty much done, but we're going to hit Control Enter. That's going to stretch the measures. And then we're going to go to the right lined box to open up the title menu. Let's call it Nothing Else Matters, Metallica. Going to click that box again, and we're done. Good luck.